Thank you very much, and good evening, and welcome to everybody that's joined into council tonight. We are calling Victoria County Municipal Council meeting for Monday, July 27th to order. The agenda has been circulated. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Thank you. Hearing none, can we have a motion to accept the agenda as circulated?
So moved.
Right.
I had that moved by Councillor McNeil, seconded by Councillor MacLeod. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? None. The agenda has been approved. And just before we get into tonight's business, I just want to offer the following comment. There was a disturbing article recently that discussed a radical ideology on Cape Breton Island. Let us be clear, we are a welcoming county, but these views are not welcome, nor will they be entertained or accepted in Victoria County. We're very fortunate to have people from all over the world who live and contribute to our life here. They are honest, hardworking people who believe in the goodness of mankind and, like us, abhor anything less. So with that, we're going to open our council meeting, and our first item up tonight is a presentation from Carla Arsenault, the CEO for the Cape Breton Partnership, and Patrick Austin, the Economic Development Officer for the Cape Breton Partnership. So we're going to turn the next 30 minutes over for their presentation. So we'll turn it over to Carla and Patrick. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ward Morrison, and thank you all for having us here this evening. It's difficult to fathom the major changes that have happened in the economy the last time that Patrick and I presented to council, and I don't think that any of us could have imagined what was coming and the adaptations that we would have to make over the last little while. We're so pleased to see the Cape Breton economy opening slowly and safety, and it's now critical we do everything we can to support our local Cape Breton businesses. Everywhere you go, whether it's around the trail or through Bedeck, certainly you're starting to see more and more places opening, but there's no question that we need all Cape Bretoners to remember to support our local businesses. So we wanted to give council an update on what our organization's been doing the last number of months. Given the unprecedented events of COVID-19 global pandemic, the partnership's been working with all levels of government to navigate the many unknowns to support the island's economy and the business community. I'll touch a bit more on that later. My hope is that after this discussion, you'll have a better understanding what we've been up to and some of the tools that are available to you and your constituents. We know that in order to grow the economy, we must grow our population. To do this, we've grown our current labor market and immigration programming by engaging in a number of initiatives. So I just wanted to touch on a few immigration-related initiatives that, just to give you an update, while we know the borders have been closed for some time, there's still, a lot of work going on in the background with some of the pre-existing programs. Under the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, which many of you are familiar with, the Cape Breton Partnership supports employers through the Nova Scotia Office of Immigration process to hire immigrants into full-time positions. This is about addressing labor gaps on the island. Before we started doing this work in 2017, there were only 24 designated employers on the island. And today we have 176 designated employers, of which 127 were directly onboarded by the Cape Breton Partnership. So we support almost 70% of the employers that are utilizing the AIP program here on the island. A snapshot of Victoria County shows we have 13 designated employers in Victoria County. There are 15 endorsements for Victoria County plus 22 accompanying family members. So what that means is that the way the AIP program is structured, the companies become designated, and then once a candidate is found and endorsed, in other words, they're now able to come. There are 13 designated employers, so 13 companies, of which there are 15 endorsements, which means some of the 13 companies must have more than one individual, and those 15 individuals are bringing 22 accompanying family members, and that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that they're bringing their spouses and their children here with them to Cape Breton. So therefore, there's now 37 new permanent residents that are destined for Victoria County. And the current open endorsements for Victoria County sits at 7, and plus their family members. So there are 7 files that we're currently working on for Victoria. So that's exciting news, and we know that we'll continue to see that grow once the borders open up once again. Another program that we oversee at the partnership is the Cape Breton Local Immigration Partnership, or the LIP, and that's dedicated to creating more welcoming communities for newcomers. So the LIP is facilitated by the partnership, but it's overseen by a council that represents community organizations, including libraries, school boards, local police. Our program manager is Kaylee Pedley, and our LIP co-chair is actually Victoria County's very own Councillor Perla McLeod. So in response to COVID, the LIP recently hosted an online consultation and launched an online survey for newcomers to better understand their experiences during COVID. This information has been gathered and shared with a number of our local leaders, and you should have it already. If you don't, we can make sure that we get that to you. Another initiative related to immigration that we're pleased to be part of is the Welcoming Communities Initiative. This is the overarching goal of this program is to foster more welcoming and inclusive communities in Cape Breton. The main objective of the initiative for 2020-21 is the launch of the Cape Breton Welcome Network. We have a program coordinator, Norma Jean McPhee, who's working directly with Kaylee Pedley and the LIP on this. So we're very excited about that new program for this year. Moving on, I will give you an update on some of the other programs that we've been working on. Many of you are familiar with our work towards the Cape Breton Unama'ki Growth Plan. The original plan was to launch that broader economic development strategy in March, April timeframe, and of course, due to COVID, we have put that on hold. Just given the economic situation that we find ourselves in at the moment. However, that will be relaunched over the coming months. So we will provide you with more information once that becomes available. We have business planning services. So we have a business planning advisor on staff who provides one-on-one guidance for businesses that are looking to open or expand on the island. Our business planning advisor began working with us in April of 2019, and to date has worked with over 130 clients, many of which are in Victoria County. In January, we began a business planning series. The plan was to travel the island, putting on sessions on topics relevant to what our clients need. We were able to host 2 sessions before COVID hit, one in Port Hawkesbury on accounting that was well attended, and then we had one in the Sydney area, but unfortunately we did have to put a temporary pause on that. Once we resume to a new normal, we'll examine how we can best offer those services in an online format. Our export growth service consultant has worked with a number of Victoria County businesses over the last number of months, and that's basically connecting business owners with the consultant and a team of experts from some of our provincial and federal partners who provide expert advice and guidance on export. Another piece that I wanted to remind everyone of was our welcometocapebreton.ca website. So until that was launched last year, there was no general site that welcomed people to the island. The site has a wealth of information for anyone considering Cape Breton to live, study, work, or invest. And we have a downloadable ebook, which has a host of various information pieces on there that would be important for anyone looking to come to the island. And we continue to evolve and update that site. And we're in the process of working on more site upgrades as we speak. Another site is the Entrepreneur CB site, which is a one-stop shop for anything for entrepreneurs on Cape Breton Island. And we encourage you to, recommend that site to any entrepreneurs in the region that you think might be able to benefit from information on that site. Our Dream Business program, that is a partnership with Bridgewater-based Mashup Lab. And it's essentially a program for aspiring entrepreneurs. We've run that program for the last 2 years. We're actually just finishing the last cohort. It's the 8th cohort. We've had, it started, the 8th cohort started on the 21st of May, so even since COVID. We had 130 plus applications that were received from 72 different communities in every region of Cape Breton Island over the course of this 2 years. So lots of interesting entrepreneurs and businesses that are being able to benefit from that free program. The rural housing study, that is just in the final touches. That was to look specifically at seasonal housing issues that many employers are facing on the island. And as I know you're well aware, it's a significant challenge for a number of businesses in Victoria County. That study should be ready to go very soon and publicly available very soon. As you're aware, we had a Victoria County Job Expo that was slated to take place on the 31st of March at the Gaelic College, but we did have to cancel that due to COVID-19. So since then, we've put a lot of thought into, in this new post-COVID world, how will we work with people to inform them of job opportunities in a virtual context. So we are in the process of launching a Cape Breton job board. So that will be an online job board available for all Cape Bretoners to promote jobs here on the island, and any interested job seekers can create their own profiles. It's a really fabulous site, and that will be launched in the coming days. You will see that hit very soon. It'll be available on the it'll be available online, and you'll see that in the media very soon. The next is our Creative Island Innovation Space. So during the winter, we worked alongside the municipality, Develop Nova Scotia, and an architect to develop a conceptual design for the space at the top floor of the municipal building. On Friday, March 6th, a public engagement, since March, I guess, we've been really looking to figure out how do we move this project over the finish line. So we're very proud to have the Bedeck space as part of a series of other locations on Cape Breton Island, where we'll be able to have some co-working and training opportunities for local Cape Bretoners. The Virtual Advisor Program. This is a new project that was just launched this year, actually within the last month. And all of the regional enterprise networks, or RENs, across Nova Scotia are participating in this program. We have, the idea behind it is that through a virtual platform called Boomers Plus, we can connect Cape Breton companies who are looking for expert advice or mentorship from essentially seasoned executives and people who have vast business experience, who are willing to, looking to donate their time. Businesses can work with those experienced mentors for, I believe it's a period of about 6 months. So if you know of any Victoria County businesses that are interested in getting some expert advice and working with a mentor, please refer them to us. It's available on our website. They can go in, apply for the program, and we do a referral to Boomers Plus, and they will get matched with a mentor. So a great program for anyone who's looking to pivot their business, or really just looking for some good expert advice, and there's no cost to sign up for that program. And finally, the Creative Economy Job Creation Project. As we know, the creative sector is one of the sectors that has probably been, been very, very hard hit by COVID-19. And we've been doing all we can to try to find opportunities for our artists and artisans to find employment. We have 2 projects that are underway for a total of 20 individuals in the creative sector. One's focused on education, and one is around the creation of legacy projects. And that is underway. I think we now have close to half of the positions filled. So very excited about that project. Okay. So some of the supports for business, and Patrick, I don't know if you went ahead 2 slides or not, or if that's the next one. I'll talk a little bit about some of the supports for business. In light of COVID, we have honestly, within 2 days at home, we had all of our staff jumping into gear and pivoting to make sure that we could do everything we can to support Cape Breton companies. We immediately launched into a resource page available on our website, which is updated even now daily. We created a webinar series where we ran a series of webinars on various topics every week, sometimes 2 and 3 times a week. We did an island-wide business survey at 2 different points where we tried to gauge how businesses were doing in the region. We did a local leadership stay-at-home video, a promotional video with our local leaders, and did a lot of promotional campaign around that. We hosted some business discussions with the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Robert Strang, where we had businesses from across the island participate. We've done a lot of work on a weekly basis. We have folks from the creative sector coming together to have conversations with government, to look at projects and programs and things that we can do to help jumpstart the creative sector. We participate in the Nova Scotia Business Labour Economic Coalition, which is led by the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. That during COVID was 3 phone calls, 3 meetings a week. They're now down to once a week, but continuing to have that provincial dialogue and making sure that Cape Breton business concerns are at the forefront at a provincial level. We created an Opening the Cape Breton Economy Toolkit for local businesses. And we've had every 2 to 3 weeks, we also host a series of economic recovery discussions with our various leaders from all 3 levels of government and our First Nations communities. So the team's been incredibly busy. Most of our economic development officers spend a lot of their time specifically dealing with businesses and helping them to address some of the challenges that they are seeing with respect to COVID. So it's been a very, very busy 4 months for sure. And the last thing I want to mention is we are very soon to announce a Cape Breton First campaign. So this would be, again, around supporting local business. So you all recall the Think Cape Breton First campaign that existed a number of years back. We are refreshing that brand, and you will see something come out from us over the coming weeks. And so stay tuned for more information on that. We know that right now it's critical to do everything we can to support our local businesses. So we want, hoping that you will all join us in championing this project, and stay tuned for more information on that. I will hand it over to Patrick.
Great, thank you, Carla. And echoing Carla's comments, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to provide this update today. The past quarter has certainly been an extremely interesting one that I don't think anyone here could have possibly predicted. On that, it has been my pleasure to work with both the community and the municipality while we recover and help grow the local economy in these difficult times. With that, first going to talk about just about the bit of the COVID relief that we've been doing here, specifically with the businesses. So the federal and provincial assistance has been needed. A lot of programs have come out from the federal government and the provincial government. Those programs are changing daily, often, especially in the beginning, and a lot of businesses were looking at it and wondering, how are we going to get some help and understand this? With that, we've had a lot of businesses reaching out to us immediately, well over 50 businesses to be a little bit more precise, coming to us and asking, what do we do? How do we figure out these programs? And then we guide them through, oh, sorry, got 2 computers going here, my apologies. So we're reaching out with them on a daily basis. I also provide a regular updates to over 100 businesses about the various COVID-19 supports and resources as they fall out. As the COVID support programs are released by both provincial and federal governments, the business community was looking for this information. Businesses were in immediate need of such information about the intricacies of each program. In addition, many of the programs were rolled out so quickly that they had to undergo changes and modifications that were difficult to stay on top of and comprehend. Fortunately, the partnership had many resources, as Carla said there, in the private sector and both the provincial and federal government departments, that we were able to answer the business community questions. We were able to receive relatively quick turnaround times. Within that as well, we did COVID plan counseling. So the individual businesses, it'd be one-on-one support that we would offer them and coming up with action plans in order to deal with that and opening plans. So before the economy reopened, we're working directly with the businesses to look at the sector plans as they came out. So as you know, sector plans were coming due to Dr. Strang's recommendations that were there. They were making those recommendations directly to the businesses. They came out with it. We were able to help make them very practical for the local businesses. This helped over 25 businesses across the county. Within that, I'm also doing bi-weekly check-ins and addressing new concerns with over 30 businesses. So trip right around throughout the whole county to make sure I hit as many businesses as possible, check in to see what sort of numbers they're reporting, see how the business climate's doing, and see how we're able to help them in new concerns as they're addressed. That has been very well received, and a lot of the results that you see are definitely surprising as they move along. I even had one business came out where they're initially down 90% and they ended up celebrating because it started to rise and only down 75%, which unfortunately that's a lot to be down. Other businesses are doing better, but they were seeing that growth, and thanks to the programs that were out there, they were able to weather that change, or are able to weather that change. Ingonish development. So as we all know, at the development at Cape Smoky Holdings, the Cape Breton Partnership is working closely with the municipality, the developers, and various county businesses in preparation. We've been working directly with Cape Smoky Holdings and bringing the supports needed from the federal and provincial agencies and connecting the necessary parties while ensuring the development proceeds with the municipality interests. This includes federal and provincial departments for infrastructure. So there's been a lot going on just to get the area ready, and a lot of support that is needed within that area there. As you know, this is a major development with well over $100 million now that's potentially coming. So in order to have everything lined up, we've been connecting all the different levels of government in and making sure the municipalities' needs are addressed. Also with our business advisory services. So since I last reported, one-on-one support, we have 30 ongoing. That is separate from the COVID support that we've been doing. Action plans, we have 18 outside of COVID currently moving through. New businesses, there's actually 22 different files we've worked with since we've last reported. That's everything from actual business plans that we're helping to helping sort of think out the ideas that they have, process them through, and connect a lot of businesses that already have plans directly with the supports they need, like a COA or BDC or different banks or different levels of government while they get permitting. So it is positive to see new businesses just trying to start up and pushing through. And then expansion plans. So there's actually 17 businesses since we last reported that we've been helping with plans to expand. Some of those are directly related to the Cape Smoky development that's happening there. Others are just as tourism's been on the rise or their business has been doing really well. So we help them walk through from everything from floor plans to predictions to connecting them with the resources that they need. Oh, sorry. Broadband. We continue to work on behalf of the municipality with Develop Nova Scotia to bring you the latest updates for the provincial broadband project. We just had the 2 webinars, one for municipal staff and the other was open to the public. Those are held on July 15th and 22nd. And I saw many of you councillors were attending of those. We also watch the developments as they move along to make sure that the municipality's interests are there, make sure that you're not missing out on any of the deadlines, and that as the ISPs, so the internet service providers that come in, that they're working with the municipality and that those needs are crossing over so that nothing is missed, and that the broadband outlook for the municipality will be reached. Mountain bike strategy. So I've spoke with most of the councils here for the area as mountain bike strategy has been moving along. Mountain biking itself is an extremely family-friendly, accessible, and sustainable. The activity is providing to be a powerful economic and tourism driver around the world. With world-class sites, destinations, and experiences already in our backyard, we are bringing all this together. The Cape Breton Partnership, Destination Cape Breton, Shoreline Consulting, and the Victoria County itself are building an action plan which will outline strategies, tactics, and steps for kickstarting a powerful, sustainable economic driver. This action plan will capitalize on the already existing assets, identify new opportunities, and create economic and employment avenues. This mountain bike tourism action plan will help extend the tourism seasons, connect the communities, and open the door for the creation of many new businesses. We have already been in contact with many of you, as I said, on this initiative. And just to kind of put it in perspective, a stat I like to show is we all know Whistler as probably Canada's or North America's most famous ski resort. There they sell 600,000 lift tickets a year for skiing. They also sell 900,000 lift tickets a year for mountain biking. So being able to bring an industry like this to Cape Breton is going to be a wonderful undertaking that'll have really great economic benefits that are going to go. And a big part of it, I said, there is the season extension, because it can go right through winter, although it slows down a bit in winter when skiing's going. But to extend that past Celtic colors and before the long weekend in May is definitely something that will happen with this. So there'll be more on that to come. It's well underway. It's looking great. And it'll also tie into the adventure tourism strategy that was completed through Destination Cape Breton by Ross Cloutier. It'll be in addition to that, but just showcase, but more across the entire municipality. Of course, municipal relations. So our unique position enables us to hear many of the concerns of business owners and bring those to municipal staff and directly to the councillors. So you're all well aware of that, but that's just where we get calls. We hear different concerns from businesses, and we're able to bring them to you to help keep them addressed. And finally, the tourism seasonality project. So we're also happy to report that the Cape Breton Partnership will once again be coordinating the delivery of the tourism labor and seasonality program on the island. So this was held last year with great success. The program in its second year connects tourism-based businesses and training opportunities, human resources tools, and wage subsidies provided by a tie-in, so the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia, and the Nova Scotia Tourism Human Resource Council. This program will be more important than ever to the operations this year due to the COVID pandemic that we've been going through. So we're excited that we've been able to pick this up again, and we'll be able to deliver that. And it's already ongoing, so we've been in contact with many businesses out there now. We'll have more updates on that as the season progresses through. So I want to thank you for your time today. Carla and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you both very much. We will open it for questions and or comments, and since I can't see everybody, what we have been doing for both Patrick and Carla will know is that we'll just go from district to district, and if you have any questions or comments, please offer them up. If you don't, just pass and we'll move to the next. So we'll start with district number 1, Councillor McNeil.
Thank you, Warden, and thank you, Carla and Patrick, for the presentation tonight. Great job with the programs. No real questions, but comments. I want to personally thank you, Carla and Patrick, for their help with initiatives through District 1, especially on broadband and with Central Cape Breton Community Ventures. And also thank Shannon McNeil for all his help with the business plan that he gave to Central Cape Breton Community Ventures. So great job and keep up. It's great to have an organization like this to help out businesses in Cape Breton. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We will move to district number 2. Please.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. So I mean, just thank you. The same. The broadband webinar was excellent. I received so many calls. Glad to have that update and see. No, we are not the only ones. We have these problems and keep going. It's to see all these programs you have. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McLeod. We go to district number 4, Councillor McGuinness. Any questions or comments this evening? You're muted, sir. You'll have to come off.
Sorry about that. Yeah, just wanted to thank you, Carla and Patrick. Living on the North Shore, it's pretty obvious the last couple of weeks with the developments happening with Smoky. Truckload after truckload of cement was going down, like gigantic tractor trailers, loads of cement going. And of course, they're getting the work done on Recco or at the Smoky Mountain too. So it's all looking up. So hopefully things will continue, and looking forward to for you guys to keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. District number 5, Councillor Patterson, please.
Thank you, Warden. Again, just to echo other comments, Carla and Patrick, thank you for all your work. I was interested in a couple of things you said, Carla, that within 2 days you had your staff mostly working or all working from home. I noticed yesterday that Google is keeping their employees at home until next July. Do you think the trend will continue or last? That, you know, we wouldn't be clogging up the highways. We wouldn't be burning gas to go to Sydney to work, where you could do it from Jamesville or Ross Ferry or Jersey Cove. You know, what's your prediction on that, Carla?
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm certainly in any position to make that, but I mean, the general sense, I can tell you, I can speak to what our organization is doing, and that is in mid-June, we did transition back to the office on a rotating basis. So in order to adhere to the protocols outlined by Dr. Strang, we do have the staff in on a rotating basis, which means that there's still that flexibility there. The biggest challenge, I think, for many is that at the present time, the childcare options are a challenge. So we're still respecting and understanding that we have that. I don't know. I think that as long as COVID is here and until there's a vaccine, I'm sure there's still going to be, you know, it probably depends on the business, depends on the industry for sure. But we are all certainly getting used to this online world. And I think all our organization is continuing to try to do is make sure that we can provide that same level of service in any online formats, you know, or platform that we can make available, because businesses still have to operate. We still want to make sure that, you know, that we're doing all we can to support them. So we're trying to do our best to make sure that that our staff are available. It doesn't really matter what office we're in, we're available to support Victoria County businesses anytime. So we're just a phone call away, and we can certainly meet up with businesses at their location if that's something that that's required. Patrick,
Just one other comment too, which one of the trend is going on, I think. I heard last week, I don't know the figures exactly, but retail sales have dropped across North America probably, but online sales have gone through the roof. You know, again, that's just sit home, order whatever you want, you know, and that seems to be a trend that's happening, and I'm sure you're aware of it. And I guess the thing is, businesses are going to have to adapt to that reality.
Yeah, and we do have some programs that, you know, the virtual advisor program that I mentioned. We have spots for 14 businesses in the Cape Breton Wren region. So we have openings for 14 companies to participate in that program. If they're looking for support, whether it's to look at online options, whatever it would be, you know, to try to navigate some of the unknowns with COVID. And we're going to continue to try to provide more opportunities. I think, you know, there's no question we all miss the in-person interaction, and we need to do what we can with respect to PPE and get people out and moving. I think we're all excited to see that. It is, we were in Bedeck, I guess a week or so ago, and while certainly, you know, it's a beautiful sunny day. I think we were all thrilled just to be out and seeing each other and seeing some people starting to move about in the village. So,
thank you, Carla and Patrick. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. Going to move up to district number 6 with the deputy warden, please.
Thanks very much, Warden. Yes, Patrick and Carla, thank you very much for all your hard work. It's you've been a real asset, especially to answer questions so quickly to a lot of the businesses here in my area. One comment, one question, I guess. First comment on broadband. The webinar was very useful, and very anxious to hear the results of the last phase, and hope those announcements will be coming in the next week or two on broadband for many areas in Victoria County. One question I still seem to be getting in the last couple of days is, I don't know if Patrick or Carla, which one can answer this, is the wage subsidy. I'm still hearing a lot of restaurants, I'm not sure about the accommodation, but definitely restaurants that are being told they're still not eligible to qualify for any of the wage subsidies. Do you feel there's going to be any changes, or is everything set in stone at this time?
So I would say they are evolving programs all the time, so I would never say never. But certainly if there are individual businesses, if you want to refer them to us directly, and we can do what we can to coordinate the questions to get their particular situation looked at. Because I think it does vary based on individual businesses. We know that overall the program's been extended till, I believe it is December. And then we also do have the tie-ins program, the wage subsidy program through tie-ins, which is more for seasonal operators to help them to extend the tourist season. If they were going to, if they had originally planned to close on a certain date, if they're looking to extend it a few weeks beyond that, that subsidy can be made available as well.
And it is actually being looking to have some adjustments made that are having to pass through Parliament right now. So it's moving towards the Senate. Once those changes come, then the program will be updated a little bit. I think a lot of the businesses are having issues in Victoria County because none of the guidelines have let it start if you're starting in June. Businesses have gotten approved that had May sales, but now they're trying to upgrade that for ones that would have started in June. I know I just dealt with actually 3 today that had that issue. So we're hoping that round of changes will come within that. But unfortunately, there's no guarantees until it's passed through. I think that might be one of the issues that the businesses are facing that you're dealing with there, Larry.
No, that's great, Patrick. And Carla, thanks very much for that answer. And once again, great work, and keep it up. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Councillor Budge, any questions or comments this evening?
No, I'd just like to thank Patrick and Carla for the presentation, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor McDonald, anything from the top of the island tonight?
Thank you, Warden. I'd just like to also say thank you to Carol and Patrick for the presentation. And things seem to be a little bit slower up in this area on the top of the island with district. Campgrounds and things like that seem to be overcrowded. Beaches that once were not known are overpopulated due to the situation, I think, at English Beach there, but that's a good thing. But I just want to say continue the good work, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Councillor. I'm just going to go to the CAO. Leanne, any questions or comments this evening before we end the presentation?
I don't think so. Patrick and I are in close contact. Every week we're touching base. Everything that he's spoken about is not something new to me, so it's great to have, we're building a really good team. So Patrick is a big part of it. So just wanted to pass that on.
Great, thanks, good to hear. And just to wrap up, I just want to certainly let Patrick and Carla know we do appreciate the work that you guys are doing in Victoria County. And I can tell you, since our association with the Cape Breton Partnership and kind of giving them the lead with economic development, we're certainly seeing results that we haven't had before. So that's definitely a reflection on both you and the organization that you represent. So I think finally we got economic development a process that works for us. So we look forward to your reports, and I can also echo the CAO's reports that both you've been excellent to keep us in the loop and keeping us advised about what's happening in Victoria County, particularly around businesses and economic development. So we very much appreciate your time, and we very much appreciate your presentation this evening.
Thank you very much for having us, and please stay tuned for the materials we'll be sending out soon on the Cape Breton First campaign. We hope that you'll all get behind it and do what you can to support it in your respective regions.
We look forward to receiving it, and trust us. We will do our best to help you promote that. We will be behind it 110%. So thank you very much again for your presentation. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our next item on the agenda is the minutes from council meeting on July 6th, 2020. Those minutes have been circulated to you, and you've had a chance to review them. Are there any errors or omissions in those minutes of July 6th? Since we appear to be satisfied with those, can we have a motion to approve the minutes of July 6th, please?
So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by? Seconded by Councillor MacLeod. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The minutes have been approved. We will look at any business, old business, or business arising from those minutes. If you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand and we'll deal with them accordingly.
So I just have some answers to old business or action items from old business. As usual, all letters are done and sent out. Just letting everyone know, we have a meeting with Lloyd Hines, July 29th at 1 p.m. Received a note back from his administrative assistant that he's only giving us an hour, and we have a really long list. So we might want to look at paring it back. She can connect us with some of the local representatives outside of Steve. So the list that we have prepared, maybe if you can send your responses to Heather, some of the things that they're not as pressing to deal with the minister with, because we're only getting an hour. So just if we could do that. Letting you know our temporary borrowing resolution has been approved. So the next step is to deal with FCM to receive our money that we are borrowing to go towards COVID-related issues or loss of cash flow. Also, we have a low income tax exemption form that's now online. We're encouraging you to get the message out to let anyone know that could apply for it. Or there's more than just seniors. It's a low income tax exemption. So please have anyone reach out to us. We're expecting that this year there probably will be more than prior years, and hopefully more than future years. Hopefully things are going to look better. Just had a question related to, Meryl had a question related to what we do with C&D or the chips that we, if we could be using C&D for our own chips. I've investigated it, heard back that it's extremely costly for us to chip that product, and to get it, to get a machine in to do it is extremely costly. And the paint that's in a lot of the product of the C&D has a lot of toxins that are not good for chipping too. So it's not really a viable option for us. We were asked to deal with the trucks that have been traveling on the roads related to transporting of C&D from the Dingwall site, and that has been dealt with. We've talked to DMA related to the commercial district development bylaw. I know that we were looking to have Ross come to council to speak about it. I contacted them and asked what their role was, where it said that they're there to help us. They informed me that their role is to look at the policy to see that it fits what it is that we're looking to do. So they've passed it on to a member. So Grant McCackern is looking at that policy for us. So that's where that is related to the CDDI. And the last thing in old business, it was requested that we order some of the Love Lives Here books. Those books have arrived, and they are to be going up distributed to schools at some point whenever the schools open, and get them in the libraries there.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions, comments for Leanne in regards to old business that she has discussed? We good? we're going to move to new business, CAO's report.
Yeah, so sent out my report to everyone. Just want to note in there, we've been tracking the rejection numbers for collection bags and garbage bags. And just want to note the increase that seems to happen in June or when tourist season opens. Our local residents do a great, a fabulous job all year long. And then I'm assuming that it's probably some visitors that come to town and our numbers go up related to bags. So we're looking at some other possible ways to get the message out there. I'm not really sure how many more things we can do to let people know what goes in each bag, but we're going to look for some new solutions because our numbers are really high the last couple of weeks. We had a department head meeting today. Patrick was there related to, he gave us an update, but you've all just heard about Patrick's update, so I'll just talk about some of the other ones. Dan was off today, but Dan is continuing to build relationships in tourism. He's going around visiting each week with different areas around the county, and he's also coming up with some new, trying to come up with some solutions to the washroom issues that we're having. So if there's some in your area that are still having concerns, have them contact myself or Dan. Dan's off for a couple of days, so it'll be me for the next little bit. In recreation active living, so Lydia has her active living survey open. It closes this week. If residents choose to participate in it, their name gets entered in a draw. And I think the draw has a prize of either a kayak trip or a gift certificate for a meal. So we're encouraging residents to respond to get us the most information in there for an active living survey to get that strategy going the way that it should. So far, we've had 131 respondents, which is great, but it would be great to get some more too. She has a project going on with rec kits where you can borrow a rec kit with some different activities for outside, and they have been extremely busy. Some are rented out for 3 weeks in advance, and she's looking at getting some more product as well. So that's really good. And they're free of charge. Contact her to rent it, and she also sanitizes the products when they come back in, so it's on a schedule. She's a member of a new pilot project that's going on. It's a special events task force, which is island-wide, and the pilot project that they're going to be using in Victoria County, I know it's not happening this year, but it's going to be the Cab Trail Relay Race. So they're going to come up with all the different steps that need to go into that EMO, the different aspects of running a special event. So we'll get some more updates on how that goes. Her reopening assistance grant closed today. She's had several applicants. She's had more applicants than the money is available there. So she's trying to come up with a way to get everyone something. So if there's some organizations in your area that didn't receive anything yet, they may not get exactly what they were looking for, but we're going to try and help out as many as we can. And she's also working on a hiking etiquette poster. She said there's not really one place to look at to find out COVID-related hiking issues and then just general hiking issues. So she's working on that. In our finance department, we've only had 5 applications so far for the property tax financing program. So you might want to, if there's residents or commercial businesses in your area that are feeling the crunch this year, urge them to apply. They have until the end of July to do it. And so we're getting close, but we are willing to help them out there to refinance. So tell them to get their applications in. We're also working on a way to get pre-approved payment plans in. We're pushing it on water and tax payments. So residents who would like to have more of a monthly plan that we can help them out with, we're urging them to contact us. There's also a prize for anyone that signs up for that as well. We're making some changes in the tax department to make things more efficient down there. We'll announce those changes as they get put into place. We also have changed over to RBC. We've ordered a few more credit cards so that there's not just one credit card available for the county, and we have several internal controls in place related to that. So Alex and I are working on that. In Public Works, there's 2 requests for proposals going out today, one on the Neils Harbor Water Treatment Plant, the treatment technology related to that. And then there's another one related to metals and trying to get rid of the metals that we have at our facility right now. We're also having several wastewater project meetings related to the project that Patrick was talking about down in Cape Smoky and Ingonish area. And we are looking at water line extension and wastewater facility that we're hoping we've started discussions with the park also, because I think that it could fill a need that they have in the park area as well. Water arrears is starting to become a problem. So we're going to be sending out some water letters in the next little bit. Friendly reminder to get your payments made. Couple of other things that we've had going on over the last 3 weeks. We've sold off some surplus equipment that we had. There was some things sitting out in Public Works that were excess inventory. I know that it was brought up in the past about a generator that we had, and if we weren't using it, possibly somebody else could. We sold off our surplus equipment and we took in about $52,000 on those sales. So that was pretty good. We are working with parks right now. We're trying to get our water agreement signed and discussions on wastewater as well. So we are in the process of dealing with that. I met with Blair Gallup, who is our returning officer. Actually, Heather and I met with Blair last week. I'm sure you all know nominations will be open until September 8th. September 8th, 2020. Blair will be in the building that week, and he will be taking your information, taking whoever is running information related to running in the next municipal council. And he seems to be doing quite well in getting his list ready and having things in place for the election. This election is going to look different this year. It's all electronic, but we are hopefully up to the challenge of October 17th related to the alternative voting for election. Just to let you know, this is really good news. We have received some Moby mats and some Moby chairs, which will make 1 to 2 of our beach facilities accessible within the county. It's really exciting. Lydia is working with parks related to this, and parks have said that they are willing to store it and look after the equipment. So we're now just looking for the locations that these are going to be set up at. So the Moby mat makes the beach accessible down to the water, so it's accessible for walkers and strollers and anyone with mobility issues. And then there's a chair also that people that may not have gotten out in the water in the last few years for whatever reason, accessibility issues, this is going to make it available for them. So we're really excited about this. We now have another washroom that is open. So the washroom at the Gaelic College is now open. I had the pleasure of going there today, and I can't believe I'm saying that about bathrooms, but had the pleasure of going there, and it is really nice and it's accessible, and the Gaelic College said they are more than pleased with the partnership that we have related to this. So it's really good. It's open, and there will be some news releases going out related to it. So really good. We also had a project that has been started a few months ago, and we just got the release. We just got a report on it. It's on standardizing all the bylaws that we have across the island and the ones that we have. So there's been Portside Law was contracted to take a look at all the different municipalities and the bylaws that are in place, and the ones that may not be up to date, if they should be up to date, or ones that should be repealed. So there will be some things coming out in the next while to get those repealed and reenacted, or repealed if they are no longer valid. So it's actually a really good project, and so you'll be hearing more on that in the next little bit. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments for the CAO this evening in regards to a report under new business? Councillor Patterson, please.
Thank you, Warden. Leanne, you mentioned the rejected garbage bags.
Yeah.
And the number. Is there a breakdown of whether they're black bags or clear bags with inappropriate material in them?
I don't have that information, but I know that it is available.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the issues, and I didn't look at the numbers very closely, but Paul and I think we had the same issue. Summer people come from CBRM.
Yeah.
Just assume it's the same, you know.
Yeah.
They've been a number of times tried it, but still.
Yeah. And ideally, what's going to happen is across the island, we all pick up and accept the same things. I mean, I think that that's the only real solution for it. And we have been in discussions with CBRM, and we're going to continue those discussions. So yeah, that's my guess too, Fraser, is that's where it's coming from. So we keep saying, know the county that you're in.
Exactly, yeah. Thank
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Just one quick one, if I could. Do you see any correlation between water bills being in arrears and potentially property taxes being in arrears? You think that they might be going hand in hand at some point?
Well, in the past, I think that our method of collecting water arrears has always been this way. So there's a lot of residents who may have less cash flow over the springtime, and then like fishing community, let's say, they usually get caught up at the end of July. So this isn't something new to us, but we are concerned because, as you'll hear in the next little bit, we are starting to feel the pinch on taxes. So taxes and water are concerning us. Yep.
Okay. And just one other thing, and you may be mentioning this later, but the property tax financing program, we've only had 5 people apply for it, and that has to be in by if you're going to put in an application, it has to be in by the end of July. Is there a way that we can extend that, or is that a provincial requirement that it ends at the end of July?
It's not a provincial requirement, it's our information, but we may have to look in to see. Sorry, it's the end of September, it's not the end of July.
Okay. That's when taxes are due anyway. So you'll keep us up to date how that collection or the collection is going. So
yes.
Yeah. Great. So we good? No questions or any other comments? Thank you very much. And that's a perfect segue into the taxation update, please.
Yeah, so I received a report. Alex sends out a bi-weekly report to us, and not sure if it's great news, but I'm going to go through it anyway. So she says, this could be the first update that is starting to show the impacts of COVID. As of today, we have 8.452 million outstanding versus 8.07 million this time last year. So we're $381,000 behind where we were last year. We know that 184 of that was new billing over last year, but even taking that into consideration, this is the most that we've been behind over the last several years. The due date could have something to do with that, though. We're pushed out to September 30th rather than August 31st. So most people will generally try to hold on to their money as long as they can and come in late. So it could have something to do with that, the timing of it, but we're not 100% sure. But our due date has been pushed out to September 30th. So that could come into play. Since last council, we've collected $1.332 million towards taxes. And so, yeah, I feel like we're starting to feel the effects this early on of COVID. But if we are feeling the effects of COVID, we encourage our residents and our businesses to fill out the property tax refinancing program so that we can help you out, get your taxes paid. So it's not great news right now related to it.
Thank you. Any questions in regards to the taxation report? Can we redo some messaging around just so folks know that property tax financing program is available? So is it worth going out again? Perhaps doing it. Yeah.
I think it was in the bulletin that went out, the last bulletin, and we can also blitz it on our website and our social media and use those different ways that we have. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think we should, and we'll leave that up to you and communications officer to see the best way to get that message out. But 5 is probably not very indicative of the number of people that are going to be facing some issues.
Yeah, and actually across the province, it's about the same. I think East Hants might have about 20, but everybody else is at 1 to 4. So there's not as much uptake on this as we thought that there would be.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate the taxation update. We're going to move to Department of Transportation Infrastructure Renewal items, and we're going to start with start our list. We'll start with district number 8. If you have any, please proceed.
Yes, Morton, thank you. Just a few things for this evening. I've had quite a few calls from area residents wondering when the trimmer will be coming. There seems to be quite a bit of foliage from Bay St. Lawrence right through to South Harbour, and some have taken it upon themselves to start the process. And where it's late July, there's no trimmer as of yet. So if we could get an update when the trimmer will be coming to the district, it would be greatly appreciated. Secondly, which I would like another follow-up on the Gaelic signage. I have never heard anything other than from our MLA that the signs had been ordered. There's been no contact from TIR in regards to that. And again, we're in the middle of the summer season and we'd like to see that process started soon. Another concern with TIR is shoreline erosion down in the Dingwall area, just adjacent up by the Markland Coastal Resort. I was down the other evening and it's quite, they had dumped some, I'm not sure, they had dumped quite a bit of rock there last year, but just up from that, it's washed right into the guardrail and it's undermined in that area. And it's quite alarming to see it. And I think there has to be some appropriate signage put out and immediate attention given to that sooner than later, because there's a turning spot there that people do tend to turn into, look out over the coast and the water there. So if we could have them look at that soon, it would be good. Also, Fraser Road, we had discussed that at past councils. I'm looking at an update from TIR when the rim work is beginning to start. And most times it starts around early July, but like I said, we're at the end of July and there's been nothing started in District 8 anyway. So if we could get an update on that, it would be appreciated. And at the bottom of Cape North Hill, there's a pavement collapse. There was a bump sign in place, but I've had calls from numerous people that they tend to go into the opposite lane when they're approaching going down the hill, and it's causing a great concern for oncoming traffic. And I would hate to see an accident happen there. So I don't know if that's part of the RIM project, if they're going to fix that, but it's a concern that has to be looked at as soon as possible. And I think I'll save some stuff for the other districts. So that's it for tonight for 8. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. Save some for the minister too. I know you will. District 7, Councillor Budge, any issues with the transportation?
I have nothing.
No. Everything's good there,
no,
sir?
I have nothing.
Thank you very much. We're going to district number 6, Deputy Warden.
Yes, Warden, just two quick issues. Number one, I was wondering if we could maybe let TRI know that the dust control on Smoky during the construction is not going very well. It was just like a fog bank there on the weekend. It was so dry. They do have a water truck, so I just wonder if we can get them to put a little more attention to their dust control on Smoky. Number two, and this kind of falls into Wayne's territory, but some residents in my area are affected by it, being fishermen and whatnot. Seeing a big increase in the number of people going to the beach on the Wharf Road in North Ingonish next to the wharf there, and residents and fishermen are complaining about the lack of room to get through once the cars are all parked on the side is down to one lane. Anyway, if we could get them to maybe look at possible signage in that area for no parking in certain areas, just have a little better control over the parking. And that's it for TRR. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden. Councillor McGinnis, anything in, or I'm sorry, Councillor Patterson, District number 5. Sorry about that. Anything
Thank you,
there?
Warden. As someone mentioned earlier about the lists for Lloyd, I guess it was Leanne. You know, Wayne, you've been making lists for how long? I'm 17 years. Paul, you're 15 or whatever. And we just keep generating a list and we send it off and it doesn't seem to make any difference. You know, it's frustrating because people think, they tell you about it and they think that you didn't do anything because nothing gets done. I have a couple of examples. And these are little jobs. These are jobs that they could do in probably an hour or two. One man's culvert has been falling apart for the last 4 years. He's reported to me 4 years ago. They came and looked at it, said we'll have to get a backhoe. It's still not done. Another gentleman requested a hidden driveway sign. It took 5 years to get a no answer that you couldn't get it. And then this ditching I reported earlier this year. Like these are little jobs, like I say, they don't require a lot of manpower, a lot of whatever, just and get them done, and then they're done, you know, and the people are happy. You know, Paul, your list, I'm sure if you look at your list, there's items on there that were there. You started probably, right? That I guess what I'm saying, the approach doesn't seem to be working for us. And, you know, if it's a matter of money, we'll put more money into the roads because that's, you know, what people want and so on. So anyway, other than that, they're working on the Kemphead Road. So hopefully that'll be finished before the fall. And that's all for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Patterson. Your point's well taken. It's a slow process, and that's why we have it as a separate issue on our agenda every month. Is because we are inundated by transportation concerns from all districts in the municipality, for sure. Thank you for that. We're going to go to District number 4, Councillor McGinnis. Do you have any transportation issues this evening? You'll have to come off unmute there, sir.
Here we go again. Here we are. Yeah. Okay. I actually made record of it in the concerns to the minister, and I think the system is not working. I believe what we should do, or what the department should do, is tender out some of these jobs. I'm not trying to take jobs away from people. There's all kinds of work to be done, and it just never does get done. Like, you know, I could name off 20 things in this district that are been asked to do, and they're doing their best, but I think it'd be a lot better system if it was a contract system where private operators could do it, go out to tender, and it just doesn't seem like we're getting the results that we should be getting. That's my own opinion. I don't know if it's the feeling of the rest, but that's one of the concerns. That's one of the ideas that I've put forward to the minister, that hopefully we can try and get some more activity done in our county. That's it.
Thank you, and we appreciate your comments. We're going to go to District number 2, Councillor McLeod.
Yeah, I just have a comment. We didn't receive any correspondence for them for the last meeting, don't you? because I don't have anything to report. It's just the same for the last time. Yes, thanks.
Steve always says that he's working on the next letter, but I think he's probably 2 behind right now on those.
Yeah, we just was looking for deadlines for some jobs. They're just in process. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McNeil, anything in District 1 for TIR?
I have a couple to add to the same list that I gave the last meeting. Actually, I won't go over the ones I said the last meeting because it's such a big list, but the two I'm going to add is a pothole at the entrance of the Dunn Road. It's really deep. Cars are going on the opposite side of the road. It's getting dangerous. It's right at the bottom of the hill, and people are traveling at quite a speed coming down the hill. And if somebody goes on the opposite side of the road to avoid this pothole, it's going to be dangerous. If they'd look into that. Also, at the gypsum outcrop in Jamesville, that's been undermined now for the last probably 20 some years, and they're only filling it in with asphalt just to make it look good, I guess, but it's a big job and something's going to have to be done. Actually, cars are traveling on the wrong side of the road each way. Don't tell me how that happens, but anyway, it's getting to be really dangerous. And I agree with what was said by the other councillors. Like, the jobs aren't getting done, but I think it's mostly they don't have the maintenance money to do them. So more money has to be put into maintenance from the government than what they have right now. So that's the two to add on to the list from last week. Thank you, or last meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. And we have captured those items. And again, just to reiterate what CAO said is that when we send the list or we have the meeting, we only have an hour. So I think we have to be a little strategic and look at the big ticket items that we're going to be looking for, and we'll try to keep the smaller items that dealt with locally. We'll probably do it here. My suspicions are after we meet with the minister, we'll probably want to have a meeting with the local, with Steve McDonald locally, and see where some of these other smaller issues fall, and see if we can deal with them more on the local level. So again, I would reinforce that if you take a look at your list and you refine it a little bit and send it back to Heather so she doesn't have 4 pages, because we know it is everybody has several issues for them, and I think if we try to get to the ones that are most important that we can deal with the minister, serve them as priorities. So can we have an agreement on that as well? Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't have any TIR issues for my district today, so we're going to move. Do we have any notice of motions this evening? We have none. We're going to go to district concerns and start with district number 1, please.
Yeah, I just have one concern, and actually I'm dealing with Robert with it already. It's a water bill issue in Little Narrows again. It's an issue that it's a very high bill for somebody that shouldn't have a bill that high, whether it's a leak or not. Whether we have to look at the bills again, I'm not sure, but Robert is looking into it anyway. I just wanted to bring it up at council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to district number 2. Councillor McLeod, any district concerns this evening?
Yeah, thank you, Warren. Just if we can send a letter to Irving. The parking lot where they need attention, the parking lot where the trucks are and going to the drive-through is a 2 or 3 holes very deep in there. Suppose they put it in orange, and I was thinking maybe they want to do it some job, but it's gone again. So we need, if they can go and check it out, the parking lot, they need some fix there.
Okay, thank you. And that would go to Irving. That would the
Irving,
letter would
directly
Irving.
with Irving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if in a motion or
Yeah,
or just a
be.
letter. Yeah.
Do we have a second?
So I
for
make
that?
a motion if we can send to Irving for that attention for in the parking lot.
Thank you.
I
We have a
second that.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor.
And the only I need from my district budget, if we can take 1,400 for Middle River Hall. That's for operation costs and social distancing for reopen. And $1,000 for Bedeck Forks for the same concept. Operation cost, social distancing, signage.
Thank you.
Please.
A seconder for that motion that incorporates both the asks.
Second.
Second by the
Thank
deputy
you.
warden. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's
That's
carried.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McGinnis, district number 4.
Oh, I think everything is tickety-boo here today. Everything's good. No concerns. Thank you.
Doing a good job, sir. Thank you for that. We're going to district number 5, Councillor Patterson. Anything there, please?
Thank you. I had some people express concern about the outage of 911 last week. Norman, do you know how long it was? I don't know many of the details for it, but it was province-wide, I believe, and it was the whole system was down. I don't know how long?
No, I think it was maybe 5-7 minutes, but I'm not sure on that.
Oh, it wasn't a very extended time, but it still doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes and something's happening. I'm just wondering if we could ask Lyle Donovan to look into it, like, you know, whether there's a backup system or should be a backup system or use something. I thought first of all of using maybe Amber Alert, but I looked into that, and that's only for child abduction cases that are reported by the police. Now, maybe you want to broaden the scope of that too, because everybody gets that on their TV and cell phones. So maybe if you could just explore some ways. Yeah, go ahead, Leanne.
Can I just comment on that? So we're in the process of looking at alerting system called Voyant. We are just taking some trial Victoria County residents. So this would be one way that we would be able to get the message out, but we're just not there yet. But what we will need is for us to get the message out, because there was a comment in the past that some didn't have internet or they didn't have cell phones, or there were several different ways. So this system will send you an email or send you a text to your phone, but we need to have that information. We need to have the emails and we need to have the cell phone numbers of the residents. So this is going to be rolling out in the very near future, but we're going to have to get the contact information for people to get the messages also. So this would have been a great way for us to get the message out. Lyle was on it. Lyle had contacted us, and we had messages that were available at the, because we had people at the office that were going to be manning the phone to give the phone numbers out if anything, if any calls had come in. Lyle was also manning the phones. I think it was an Atlantic Canada-wide outage, so it was a Bell issue. So there is no one solution to it at this point, except not having 911 go down. So Lyle is on it. But.
And I'd like to thank Jocelyn for sending out that email with emergency numbers on it too. That would have helped some people anyway. So thank you.
Yep.
Good. Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Warden, District number 6.
Yes, Warden, thank you. Only one thing tonight. I just wondered if I could have $1,000 from my district budget go to the Ingonish Baseball Association in care of Adam Sams. And that's a motion.
We'd like to have a seconder for that, please.
Second.
Second.
Sorry, Councillor Budge was first on that one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you say
Contrary minded?
Adam? Sorry,
Sorry,
keep going.
did you have a question? Sorry.
No, is it Adam Sands?
It would be Sams, S-A-M-S, Adam Sams, but it should be in the file from last year.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. We're all in favor. The motion is passed. Anything in District 7 this evening, Councillor Budge? Not sure, we may have lost Councillor Budge. We'll move up to District number 8. We'll come back to Councillor Budge if he is reconnected. Councillor McDonald, anything in District 8?
Yes, Warden, just CAO had mentioned earlier about the alert system. I had some calls from residents Saturday. There was a water repair that had to take place in the district, and some hadn't received notification or had been notified, and they just were inquiring as to what is the process of being notified, if it's put out via social media or in post office or what have you. And I explained that we are looking at the text alert system, and we'll be compiling that information soon, and hopefully, if it's feasible, we'll get that out to all residents of Victoria County.
And your area, I think, is the reason why we're even looking into the system to begin with, but it's going to be good for the whole county. But we put the message out as quickly as we could. We only knew about the issue was Saturday morning at about 10:30. And I think the shutdown was maybe 11. And we got the message out on all our outlets as fast as we could. But we are looking at this Voyant system. But again, we're only going to be able to get the information out if we have the information to send the information out.
Right. Thank you. I'd like to take $2,000 from my District 8 budget. Since everybody else is spending money, I should probably put some out as well. $1,000 to the Cape North Masonic Hall in aid of their new well that they had just placed a couple of weeks back there. And that's a Masonic Hall in Cape North. That's a local hall. And I'd also like to take $1,000 from my District 8 budget for the Bay St. Lawrence Women's Fishnet Society, which is to help improve green space for community and youth. They're doing a great job over there, and I'd like to make a motion to have those two amounts taken from my District 8 budget, please.
Thank you very much, Councillor. We have heard the motion that $2,000 from Councillor McDonald's budget for two different items, $1,000 each. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Sorry, I'm not sure who I heard. Do we have a seconder again?
Second.
Second by Councillor Budge. Thank you, Councillor Budge. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. The money is spent. Anything
Good.
else?
Thank you, Warden. No, I just want to have a mention of a new business that's opened up in the district. It's called Maple Ridge Cabins, which is just up towards the big interval area. I have cottages that have opened. I've been hearing great reviews on them from people and tourists alike. I'd just like to welcome them and hope things continue well for them. That's Maple Ridge Cabins.
Maple Ridge. Well, thank you very much, and certainly pass along our condolences as well as for new business in the county.
Yeah. Thank you, Warden. That's it.
Thank you. I don't have any district concerns tonight. So we're
I have some.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I missed you. You were sorry about
Yeah, I
that.
was muted.
Sorry. You're on the air now, sir.
Okay, I'd like to take $1,000 from my district budget for the Neil Sabre New Haven Development Association.
Okay, it's a motion
And
for.
I'll make that a motion.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Second.
Deputy Warden has seconded that. All in favor?
Aye.
Minded? Motion's carried. Anything else, sir?
Yes, I had a call today. There's a dead seal washed on the beach between the lighthouse and the chowder house. So I'd like to get that removed, and if it's okay, I'll just take the money out of my district budget to do that.
Okay, whoever removes it, would you ask them to contact CAO so that we know what the cost is and it will be looked after?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay, and we won't need a motion for that. We'll just, next meeting, if you know the amount and it's over 1,000, we'll make a motion.
Oh, no, it won't be that much.
No, I hope not, but, we'll go from there. If it comes out of your district budget, just contact CAO and we'll make sure that it's removed.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, or is that it?
No, that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Budge. I don't have any tonight. Do we have any bylaws tonight?
No bylaws at this time, no. But I just mentioned that we are in the middle of this bylaw standardization project. So there will
Yeah.
be some.
Okay. Any policies for review tonight?
None currently, no.
None currently? Okay. Any correspondence this evening?
Yeah, I have a couple. Now, there is a comment on Facebook. Just wanted to let you know that Brian Daphne is watching from Annapolis County, and he says my brother looks good with that English background. Just wanted to let you know that. I have a couple of letters. I received one back from Municipal Affairs and Housing, letting us know that Norman Matheson will, they've accepted our recommendation to have Norman continue serving on the board of Cape Breton Island Housing Authority. So we thank Norman for his contribution to that. So just to let you all know. Also, I received a letter from Minister Hines today. Says, thank you for your letter dated May 21st, 2020 regarding a rebate on annual passes purchased by residents around the province. COVID-19 has presented challenges to citizens and government never faced before, and government has acted in the best interest of its citizens. The waiver of ferry fees was not to give financial relief to those using the ferry, but rather to ensure the health and safety of the ferry users and the crew. However, given that these are unprecedented times, the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Renewal would consider giving extensions to passes already purchased. This extension would equate to the time elapsed that fees were not collected due to COVID-19. So they are saying that they are going to waive fees. I don't know if he's actually saying that it's actually happening or we need to take another step, but it might be something that we ask him. We might be able to slip that in as a quick one on Wednesday with him as well. So that is one piece of correspondence. Other correspondence that I have received earlier in the weeks, I have passed out. We did receive one this afternoon, and it was addressed to Mark Peck and Warden Morrison. So I'm just going to read this. It's just a little bit over a page. Dear Mr. Peck and Mr. Morrison, on behalf of the commissioners of the Village of Bedeque, I write you on a consequential matter that has been troubling community leadership for some time and now brings into question the viability of the village's current governance model. Like so many rural communities across the country, the Village of Bedeque has been confronted by a number of unfavorable trends, including urbanization and aging demographic, which are adversely impacting the community in a variety of ways. Among more noteworthy outcomes is the stagnation of the village's residential and commercial tax base. Governing in a time of increasing costs and declining resources has become decidedly more difficult. Marginalized financially, the village is at risk of not being able to meet its obligations in the operation of essential facilities and delivery of fundamentally important services. Unfortunately for the Village of Bedeque, COVID-19 has increased the severity of an acutely challenging fiscal circumstance in dramatic fashion. In fact, so much that the village's overall financial liquidity is now in question. Against this backdrop, the Village Commission has, by unanimous resolution, directed that the Province of Nova Scotia, Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the Municipality of the County of Victoria be petitioned to immediately join with the Village in undertaking a review of the current governance model. By a letter dated July 23rd, 2020, residents of Bedeque have been apprised of this action. The purpose of this letter is to formally request the DMA and County join with the Bedeque Village Commission in reviewing the village's governance model. The shared hope of village commissioners is that the assessment will result in viable and practical go-forward options that can be brought before Bedeque residents in the near future. Moreover, the Commission's common objectives going forward is to see a proud and enduring Bedeque collective continue to be manifestly imbued with a unique sense of community spirit and purpose. As this is a matter of urgency, we look forward to your near-term reply. So, a letter from the village.
So what are your thoughts about, we met with the village, so
yeah, so
what are your
it was probably a month ago that we met with the village and had a Zoom call where council was invited and the commissioners were invited to discuss village issues. At that point, they told us that they would draft a letter and send the letter out to start a process to look at future options. This seems to be that letter that has come out. My thought is that we just maybe still don't know what their options are or what it is that they're looking for. So I kind of feel like it's still in the villages. It's still in the villages. They're still driving the bus to tell us maybe what it is exactly that they are looking for or what their options are. But I also think that it is council and commission's decision to figure out what it is that the future could be. I think that administration will get involved when there is an option decided. But until the option is decided, I think that it's probably more at the governance level, which would be between council and the commission. And, and the province being part of it, but it is a village decision to be made.
I would agree, and I perhaps if I could just comment on this because it's obviously my district, but would council be opposed that we ask CAO back to go back to the village and ask for a little clarity of exactly what they are looking for, because certainly I don't see the clarity of what they're looking for in that correspondence. Any questions, comments on that?
Yeah, Warren, it seems to me, just listening to it, they're looking for a review of their government's model, right? And they mentioned the minister in the body of the letter, but did I hear it's addressed to the warden and Mark Peck? So are they assuming Mark Peck is going to pass it on to the minister, or I'm not clear where they're going with it either. You know, in my mind, you would have written the letter to the minister requesting this government's model review, CC'd it to the warden, and CC'd it to Mark Peck.
Yeah.
You know, but that apparently, Leanne, that's not the way it's set up, the letter, is it?
No, and there's no mention of the minister in here. I think it's more they're asking the three parties to be involved in coming up with some options related to governance. So I think they're asking Department of Municipal Affairs with Mark Peck overseeing it and the county and the village to get together on it. So I think the step that based on whatever decision they make, then they go to the minister.
Maybe important, since the letter, you have a concern you just expressed a few minutes ago about the clarity of the letter. Maybe we should direct the CAO to consult with Mark Peck to see what he thinks it says. And then if it's still not clear, go to the village and say, like, we just want some clarity on the whole thing here.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Councillor. I think the future of the village lies with the village, not the municipality. And I think, therefore, if they have some options that they clearly have, if they want to let us know what they are. But I think if we could direct it back through Leanne to go back to the village and get some more clarity on this, because at this point, I'm not sure what it is they're looking for. And at the end of the day, as I kind of mentioned, it is their decision, not ours, the future of the village. So. And I believe Mark Peck with DNA is also saying the same thing. I think he's saying that it's the village's decision to make. Yeah, and but I'm not speaking for him. But. No, and I would agree with your comment, Leanne. I think the other issue at the end of the day is, will it have an impact on the municipality? It probably will, but until we know what their decision is, then we'll deal with the impact when we find out what it is, I guess. And that's, so I think, are we okay with referring it back to CAO to go back to the village and get a more clear definition of what it is that they are looking for?
Yeah, definitely. Good.
So I don't think we need a motion for that, unless you feel that you need a motion to move forward on that. And it's more direction from council than.
Yeah, I think that what I'd like to do is send them a letter, and we're definitely open to meeting with them. I just think that we need to know what their options actually are, and they give us an agenda with what their options are that we can discuss.
And I think if, just given, I know they're under siege. They said at the last meeting that COVID has driven a lot of this just from a financial perspective. So I think, would you guys be okay if they need to meet with us, or if they see a sense of urgency here, either the province or the village, would we be open to have a special meeting of council with them if they request it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would
definitely.
necessarily wait till the end of August. And yeah, and I think they're going to have a clear indication, as are we, over the taxes are due the end of September. So there's going to be a clear indicator of where the taxation collection is going to be in the village, as it's going to be with the municipalities. So I think there'd be some, if it's required, that we will meet with them. And Leanne, you can relay that if they need a special meeting with council to meet with them. We're open to do that as well.
Yep, will do.
Okay. Any other correspondence?
That's all.
Is there anything else to come to council tonight?
I have a report of a committee report.
Yes, please. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah,
No.
we meet today with Victoria County with the chair, Joan Downey, with the chair from CAT. We are opening in August 4th for the transit. So I asked if maybe Jocelyn can, Amber is a new manager, Amber Carrigan. So we have a new manager. They can contact each other for the requirements, what you need to do when you get in the transit. Like it's going to be a mandatory mask, 2 people for ride, and or like a no mask, no ride. And so if she can contact her, and maybe we can send some information to the residents about what to expect for the new rides. And they talking about it's only going to be right now for medical appointments. So, but yeah, so if you can give that directions to Jocelyn.
Will do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, just before you leave that, and it's a good point. There was a good meeting this morning. And transit is starting up again, and correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor McLeod's August 4th that the service is available. Yeah. So, thank you. Good report. My apologies, I skipped over committee reports. Are there any other committee reports to report tonight? We good?
Yeah.
Are there any other issues to come to council this evening?
Warden, just letting you know that CBC has 1 question. So when we get to that point, just letting you know.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. We good? Our next meeting is August 10th, and we will hold for that question from CBC in a moment. I just want to thank Jocelyn for being our switcher tonight. The first time she did it. Great job. And we want to thank Heather for taking minutes tonight as well. So CBC has a question. Can you come on and perhaps let me know who you wish to direct your question to, please?
Yes.
I believe Adam McNamara.
Adam. Thank you, Warden Morrison. It's Adam McNamara at CBC.
Yes, go ahead.
I was curious about the TIR and the, I guess, how it's taking so long to approve what you guys call these little jobs. I was wondering if, since you are a bigger county, do you guys, like a bigger county geographically speaking, do you guys get more money for infrastructure renewal as opposed to other counties?
Chief, that's a good question. I guess my short answer would be it doesn't appear that we do. Just with the list that every council meeting, the list gets longer and longer. We've had some success dealing with them locally with some projects, but there are certainly a majority others that continue to fall through the cracks and don't get done. But certainly for a lot of the districts, it is an ongoing challenge to try to get even some of these very small projects done. So I can't answer that question, but my impressions would be that we're very, very underfunded with for any kind of projects that are being described as we go through every council meeting.
Thank you. And just as a follow-up, is there any district in particular that's worse off than others? Would you guys say, Warden Morrison?
Well, that's a good question. I think all districts are. We certainly hear District 1.
No, I disagree, Warden. I think District 1 is a basket case, according to their councillor anyway.
I think
I bring a lot more to council probably than any other district. But
Yeah.
no. We hear from all, in fairness, Adam, we hear it a lot, particularly District 1 is definitely, has had the longest history of repeated requests for a lot of work, that's for sure. But, having said that, it is always a priority, and that's why we make it a separate issue on our council. Because prior to do that, every time we did district concerns, about 70% of them were in and around Department of Transportation, Infrastructure, Renewal. And we appreciate the cooperation we do get. And we also appreciate, as it was said tonight, that there's a massive underfunding for these, construction projects that are being done. And we're not talking small items here. We're just talking about regular maintenance. And it continues to be an issue at every council session. But I will, if there's one of the councillors that wants to speak to it just very quickly. And my final point would be that just speaks to the frustration that we have to go and ask for a meeting with the ministers specifically to deal with our frustration with some of these projects, some of them very small and some of them are quite significant, whether it's a ferry or a bridge. So it's right from very small projects right to some major projects. So does any of the councillors want to just offer in a very quick comment on it?
Well, just with the budget area, like out of Bedeck, it's not just Victoria County. He has part of his budget that goes towards Inverness County too. So it's not, the budget doesn't go county by county. It's a kind of a district for them too. So he has to split up the money between the two. And obviously there's not enough maintenance money going into it.
Yeah, good point. And that was Councillor McNeil, from District Number 1. Anybody else want to kind of chime in on before we?
Yes, Warden, Councillor Daphne here. I guess one of the biggest things that we notice north of Smoky is that we're told, and this is one of the things we're going to confirm with the Minister Hines, is that our salt budget is the same as everyone else's salt budget in the province. So basically, we have drivers here very concerned that they're not allowed to put out the amount of salt that's required. Our winter conditions north of Smoky are extremely severe compared to the rest of the province, and that's what we're going to confirm. If we are getting the same amount of money and expected to use the same amount of salt, it's not realistic. We have a very severe winter down here and require greater amounts of salt, and I know it plays on all the operators here in the area, their safety when you're dealing with Smoky. So that's one of the biggest things, is to confirm that we are not getting the same as everyone else. We should be getting more.
That's a good point. Thank you. Anybody else want to chime in before? So you can get the sense.
Just one word. Adding that is this: the trucks. They're old, and we have to share it sometimes with another county. So it's everything. All the infrastructure is very, very old, and sometimes but the budget is low. So that's our problem. We
could probably keep you here till midnight just discussing the specifics. But at the end of the day, it's always an issue with every councillor, and it's part of being in a rural part of Nova Scotia probably, but we just figure, as mentioned, it's equipment, it's services, it's an ongoing problem, and it's an issue that comes to council. Multiple issues come to council every council session. Anything else we can?
That's perfect, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any final comments before we sign off this evening? Again, thank you very much for your cooperation as we continue to meet virtually. We have no idea when the state of emergency is going to be removed. So this is going to be the status quo until we're told otherwise. And we'll leave it at that.
Just Councillor McNeil, Councillor McDonald, and Councillor Deputy Warden Daphne, and myself will be on the phone, available by phone call after the hockey game tomorrow night. So just and the warden too. I forgot about the warden. Any one of those 4 people you can call at to get some therapy.
Confirm their loyalties. All right, our next meeting is August
Hey,
10th.
folks. Good meeting. Goodbye.
All right.
I move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Councilor Hale.
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.